Okay, we are now officially recording. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. Okay, what you see on your screen is the SCA harassment and bullying policy. The SCA prohibits harassment and bullying of all individuals and groups. Participants engaging in this behavior are subject to appropriate sanctions. If you are subjected to harassment, bullying, or retaliation, or if you become aware of anyone being harassed or bullied, contact a seneschal, president of the SCA for your kingdom's board. All right. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Baroness Cassair.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Viking Hair. A couple of your faces have showed up for a couple previous classes, and this class is going to be we're going to do top knot, 2 side knots, and then there's a braided up and over, and then there is a back one found on a bog body that I think is super pretty that we're going to try to do. And her hair is a little short for it, but we're going to try to pull it off so you guys get a sense of it for the hairdo. And I also have a video link to drop for references. I don't have, I can probably try to find some, if you guys are interested in where I'm getting my references from. The Valkyrie, you can see in a lot of the Valkyrie statues that the way they weave the statues, you can see the knots on the side and you can see the knots on the head. They literally carve the knots right in. And the other thing I will show you is I got from one of my friends a whole bunch of different, let me see if I can get this, different Viking hairpins. This is definitely one of them that I kept for myself. One of my friends is a carpenter, and so one of my friends is a super Viking aficionado. So she sent me a bunch of these pictures, and then my other friend, who's a carpenter, made me a bunch of these hairpins, and so I keep them. I'm trying to think if I have any left here. And of course, he made me a container to give them out. So here are the ones that are left that I use to hold the top knots in, because our hair is not trained for top knots. So, and then because he understands what nerd I am, I have extra hair sticks as well to give away, because that's, how I roll my universe. So, to get ready for a top knot, I've been practicing because my hair is finally long enough for a top knot, and I'm gonna do a side knot here. That way you guys can kind of see it better. But you kind of want to, again, in the 2 other classes I showed you guys, one of the things I keep talking about is that medieval hair is not of the same condition as ours. Ours is much drier. And Hannah's hair is not quite, I'll try to top knot hers, but hers is a little short and hers is really thick. That's the hairspray. No, that's not hairspray. That's not combing. You can see how worried you are. All right, so I'm going to half top knot hers because I don't think hers is all going to top knot. But a top knot is, let's see if I can get this. This is a little short, but top knots are pretty. So I'm going to wet it down a little bit more on top. I'm kind of looking at, Deirdre, your hair would be beautiful in a top knot with the highlights. Yeah. And I'm going to put a little conditioner in it. Makes it stick and stay, conditions it nicely. Yeah. Thank you. Is there a question?
What, someone joined?
Yeah, it's beautiful, Deirdre. And you have enough length too. Yeah, it's your ends.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So a top knot is, you can face them, is you're going to twist it, guys, and bring it around and literally make a knot and push the end through it and get the end right like that. And Hannah's hair, because she doesn't wear it in a top knot, I'll put something pretty in it for her, is you can put a hair stick in it to kind of hold it. But that's the Viking top knot right there. Yeah, if you want to tip down and show them. You guys kind of see, it's really that simple. Okay, head up, and I'm going to show them the two sides. And I've been wearing mine up at night to tie, because I'm not a Viking right now. I'm a Roman, because there's this rain going on with these two guys or something.
Forever
I'm married to one of them. The other one lives nearby. But the top knot is a lot of fun. So I've been practicing it with my own. I'll show it to you in a minute. But the two side knots are what I affectionately call the Princess Leia look.
I was wondering.
Yeah. If you want to put a hair stick in it to begin to train your hair, you'll see some of the valkyrie. There's no sticks or anything in them, and I think because the women just sort of began, one, their hair was super sticky because they didn't really wash it, and two, yeah, your hair is not quite long enough. See if we can get it.
Oh, we got more people.
Good. Here we go.
It is
Princess
good.
Leia.
Ow.
Sticking out the side.
You need me to hold this?
Put it. No.
Oh, okay.
Do I need you to hold, silly child? I'm putting a stick in. Move over. There you go. Also, please understand, I don't know if you can see Hannah's hair. Hannah, very much like Prince Albrecht, has a ridiculous amount of hair. This is almost a quarter in the size of the amount of hair this child has. I met somebody in Concordia once who was competing. It was her first competition, and I had a little bit of time, and she was in this beautiful Viking garb. She must have been 20, 25 or 30. I don't know. I'm old now, so 25 or 30 is young. Shut up. She's graduating high school. 25 or 30 is so old. So, and I did her hair like this for her competition, and she won. And she was like one of her first or second events, and it was so fun to give somebody period hair. And she was super cute, because you see, that's super cute. So I know, Hannah, you hate it. I understand. But literally, there's valkyries that wear this, and you can wear the sticks or not. Once you train your hair, it totally will start going like this. The longer your hair, this will start to go and grow out in it. See, it's Princess Leia here. Here, watch it a second. Move over. Oh. And those of us a little bit, oh, I gave you my hair sticks.
Oh, like my hair right here.
I just think the two are super cute. Those of us slightly more distinguished. See, guys, I've been practicing this at night to start training my hair to go up, because it's kind of what it needs to do. And there, you just get it up. And you see it just starts to wear itself. And it gets used to being up. And then it it'll move around for a little while and begin to hold itself and kind of see. That's the top knot. And if it starts to piss me off, which sometimes it does, because I like it here, I think that's prettier than back here like that. That looks bald. Not a fan. I'll put the stick in it where I want it. And we go from there like that. And again, I like it up front because quite like my conversation that I have 1,000 times, this is my Viking Snapchat filter. I want my hair looking like this. Because maybe the Valkyrie statues didn't look like this. Maybe they look like that. Well, that's because that looked good on their face, and this is what looks on my face. So you want to adapt all these hairstyles to what you think. I think she looks very Star Wars Viking cute like that. So that's super wonderful for her. Yeah, that looks really good, Heather. That's adorable. So, but you want to start getting, not only do you, and I talked about this in my class a couple weeks ago, you want to start adapting the looks to what you like looking on you too. Because if you don't look like the bust, then that hairstyle is not going to look like you on the bust. I am fat and my face is a certain shape. So I want certain height to my face to make my hair look the way I want it to. It's super simple. This is a really simple thing for me. So if I move it forward like this is what I was talking about with you, Deirdre. You have beautiful highlights. My highlights come out really pretty like this. So you want to start messing with hairstyles the way you want to express yourself. That's what every single person has done with every single hairstyle everywhere. But if you don't start messing with it, you can't figure out how you want it to look for you. Oh, there is a kid. Hello. Yes, and you can practice on her because this is what's happened to this one for years.
Well, and that's just being the unofficial hairdresser for Norseland. I end up doing a lot of stuff all the time. So now I'm going to try the Princess Leia that Hannah's got on Kai.
Yeah. And then if you want, I know how to give you some of these hair sticks. They can
yeah.
go up in a bag.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's fine. They sit not being used at all. You can have plenty. So just so you guys know, Shelly right here on this thing is the person who delivers these amazing farm fresh food to us on occasion. So just saying.
I love that food.
I know. You didn't know that before? Yeah. The quiche, that's her bucket.
Good enough.
Yeah, the popcorn. Right.
Maple caramel popcorn is like a favorite for sure.
By you drop it off on Monday, Tuesday. It's gone by Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. So I'm gonna drop this link in while you guys mess around with your hair for a minute because that's the most fun. I can't see everybody, but I completely love the fact that you're starting to mess with your hair. Because that's exactly what I want to be happening right now. I'm going to drop this link into this chat, and this is where the Valkyrie pictures are in here. And I like this YouTube station. Did I drop that into the everybody chat? Let me see.
Yep. You can only text everybody.
Okay, I'm glad my tech weenie knows this because what could you use as a substitute hair stick? Anything. You can use
Pencils.
Can you go to the bathroom and grab the cup that's in there?
Okay.
Against the window. I'll show you I like hair sticks. Chopsticks work. Hair sticks work.
Yeah, these work too.
These are one of my boning needles that I've used. Again, this is a period class, so I'm trying to show you period things. You can absolutely use. Yep, those are those toothpicks or what are those? Deirdre, you can unmute yourself and speak. It's not Simon Says.
Or you can post it in the chat if you don't want to be recorded.
Right.
They look like knitting needles. They're knitting needles. They're DPNs.
Okay. You can
I
also
use knitting needles too. This is so. Her hair. Look at
love these are. I don't know if you can see them, but they are They're not bobby pins, they're hairpins. These work really well. Yeah, because bobby pins work too, but sometimes if you have a lot of hair, they won't hold. I also like val pins if you want to make it pretty. Val pins will work, but you may stab your finger, so be really careful. So pretty much anything that you can. And the one thing that I did learn from a hair stick class is that when you're going to use a hair stick at first, I want the hair stick to go like this in my hair, but you're going to want to start with it this way and then wind it through, and it'll hold a lot better. And I don't know who decided that, but it was probably somebody super frustrated with their hair stick.
It's true. Can you look at how long this child's hair is?
Yeah, anytime you want me to get on that, I'd love that.
So we love her hair, and we have to shave. We shave underneath because it's so thick and hot. So it's clean right now. So unfortunately, it's not messy enough. But I can't. Like, it's so long, right?
You can also braid it and do that if you want to do it, because that may be easier. But also,
I think so. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think there's this length. I can't get it to make that bun. I think without a braid.
You may want to condition it first too, makes it stay better.
Right.
Okay. So the next one,
You know what interesting she does?
I do. Is you're gonna want to cut. I don't have any leather, so I'm just gonna show you how to do this with string. And I've often done this with embroidery floss. Depends what we have. Yeah, I took that one out too. So that should be. They said to on the video to make it about here. I'm gonna. Okay. They said to make this string about 3 times as long as the braid. So, and I'm going to go a little bit longer so you can see it. And it's leather, it's string, and, the video said, obviously use leather or string, but I'm going to tell you to use whatever you have lying about, because that's what they did. And Hannah's hair, again, is a little short for this, but since the prince's hair is even shorter, and I don't think he would appreciate being a Viking hair model right now, though it would be funny.
It's getting there.
It is. The front of his hair is absolutely long enough to get there. I don't think he would appreciate it. So turn sideways while you play with your slime. Thank you. So, and also, Shelly, the last hairstyle that we're doing is going to work really well on her length of hair. The same with you, Deirdre, but I don't know. So this one is one of the ones found on the bog bodies, and we're just going to braid this up. Okay, no worries. And Hannah, one of the things they say is I usually have people watching me do hair, so I always have assistants. But if not, Hannah, put your slime down. Thank you. As you take the string, you're going to put it around the top of the braid. And you're going to wind it around the braid, guys. Move your hand down, Hannah.
Jody, are you going from the top to the bottom? Because
I'm going from right here. I can't see myself. Right here. Yeah, Hannah, let's move you closer. It's hard to see.
You're in that corner.
Yeah, it's right here, and I'm just crisscrossing all the way down. Can you guys see that?
Okay,
And
thank you. No, I couldn't see with the
here.
so. Okay, thank you.
And tying it at the bottom. And I'm going to do it on the other side too, guys. And then you see how much string is left? There's like a ton. I would err always on the side of too much string, because I'd rather cut it off than try to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with no tie off string. Turn around.
Yeah, let go.
Yeah, let go. We're going to do it on this side too. Should I try white so you can see it? I don't know if white's going to show up on her. You know what? Let's try. I'll do it with this, guys. See if you can see this better. Because, you know, that'll look great. Make this show up better. Okay, just a braid. Okay, Hannah. And then try to make your ends the same length. You see that? And then you see how I sort of pull it through there? And then I'm just weaving it over her hair like that. Is that easier to see? Okay.
Yes, thank you, Jody.
Yeah. I feel like I'm doing hair calisthenics right now. Okay, put your arm out here so I can tie it off, Hannah. No, no, don't let go of the end. That does not help.
I put you on my arm.
No, I'm out here. Okay.
I'm too tired.
Well, you're so tired from all the schooling you had today. Okay. You just, I can't even with this child.
I'm ready to trade me.
I'm trying to trade her. No one says yes for some strange reason. The queen would take you.
He said he wouldn't take me to college.
You can come and live with me in Canada.
All right. So what you want to do here is you put the braid up here and you sew it in like this. And you see I love this nail binding needle. It's, you know, while I would enjoy drawing blood on her, I'm really not going to. Because she will complain like you don't even know. Like it's awful. So, and you just sew this in like that. And like that. And like that. There we go.
Let me turn.
Yeah, let's turn so we can see. And again, if the hair is a little longer, you'll double. I like to sew both sides down with both strings. I think it holds it better. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But right now, I'm going to sew the black through a little bit of the red and through her ends. And it's also sewing a bit through the hair that's just being braided. And I did this at an event a couple years ago on a Saturday, and my friend wore it, I think, until like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And she finally took it out. It stays a really long time. her friends at the news station had a lot of fun asking her what she's doing with her hair. And again, you're supposed to be doing this with stuff that matches, but because I really wanted you to see it better, the Vikings did not do this with red velvet, red sateen ribbon, but I just wanted you guys to see it. Okay, turn around. Well, actually, stay right there. What I'm going to do, kind of glad I did this in contrasting. It helped you see both sides. That is a sentence for this week, isn't it? And now I'm taking the other string, guys, that's from this side, and I'm going over the top. Your head back a little because you're still tall. And then there, you can take both of these. I'm not going to tie them off because we're going to take them off for the last hairdo. But you would tie both of these and then knot them. And then you would do the same with this, guys, as you would sew this over. And then take a look. Face forward. Your head over. And that's what it looks like.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, scooch over. I'll take it out. Questions while we're working on taking this one out?
What would be an appropriate or period appropriate type of thing to use for the tying, for the sewing?
For what to put in here?
Yeah. Obviously, you said velvet ribbon is not the right thing, but
no, I use this for contrast. I've used, and I think the video talks about, I've used leather. And I think this is completely appropriate. This is just a cotton. I carry this with me all the time. This is just, I bought this at Joann's. Where's my white? Is it over by you? That. Grab that. These two, I think, would work. This is cotton thread, thick cotton thread, and this is black cotton thread. And I think kind of anything like that would work really well. Contrary to what I thought, the Vikings actually weren't super prissy about their hair. I actually thought they were. And then I did a little bit of work and research, and they really kind of weren't. They were really functional about it. So they didn't adorn it a lot. They didn't, as far as I can tell, and anything that has made that so seems to be movies and sort of fictional. So yeah, so just basically any sort of cotton twine. I would also think if you wanted to spin something or weave something, you could do that. It would be stuff that they had lying around. So, other questions?
someone had a question in chat. Was their hair always, oh, I lost this question. Was their hair always long for male and female styles?
No, actually, I found some recent research. I read somewhere, and this is where I frankly, forgive me, guys. Hair is this one of these things where, I read about it in the weirdest of places, and I can't cite my sources later. But no, I have seen For Viking hair, some women did not wear it long. Some wore it shorter. I have no idea why. And again, our only resources that I am willing to quote off of are bog bodies. I think those are living bodies, or valkyries, or things like that, or statues. I think once they're enshrined, we're getting into what you want hair to look like, you know, versus functionality of hair. So no, I don't think, however, I don't think they did any high maintenance hair, any of those cute little short little things, mohawks, anything like that. No, they didn't do anything like that. So as far as I can tell, but some of them kept it shorter. And I also think sometimes some of your hair didn't grow due to nutrition. So other questions? Thank you for reading them, because my hands are tangled up in trying to get this out.
So I have one question about the hair sticks, going back a little bit.
That's cool.
So I have very fine, very thin hair, and I find that a lot of hair sticks tend to just come out of my hair very easily. Do you have any suggestions on, like, you know, better shapes or styles of hair stick, or things that I can do to my hair to, you know, keep the hair sticks in place?
One, start training your hair. Two, any kind of conditioner. Oh, this is being a pain. Can you find the scissors so I can cut the thread? They're right over. There they are. Any kind of just pull this thread out. Guys, if your hair starts to behave like this, just cut the thread. It's being a pain.
I know for my hair, because my hair is super, super fine, as I've talked to Jody about, I had a pair of hair sticks that have the twist in them. So it has like different levels. And I found that it would last for 4 hours opposed to the other ones that last for an hour. So I don't know if that'll help you, but, and they're probably not period, but
So
that's what I use.
part of it is, I'm going to have to work on that knot in your hair too. Part of it is to get some conditioner in your hair to give your hair some texture. And some of it is that little trick I showed you to put it the other way first. And part of it is hair sticks didn't stay in my hair either. I've been training my hair during COVID to start behaving this, because I think, you know, eventually I'm going to want to hit events like this and start doing the Roman thing when I don't want to wear, no offense, that whole crown thing gets to be so much. And that pala, I love the pala, but that's 15 yards of wool and silk. And so I will be doing that. So part of it is starting to train your hair to do that. And now I'm going to say something you're not going to like. Don't wash it so much. Sorry.
I don't. I wash it once a week because somebody else give me. Wait, we're being recorded. Someone was told me a very kind thing, said, don't wash your hair a lot.
Yeah.
I was going to see CRAP, so it wasn't going to be a bad word.
Yeah, I wash my hair about once a month right now.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. And sorry, Hannah. And then somebody hopped on one of my chats and said, that's not what I was taught in cosmetology school. I know. I'm sorry. But that's, you know, again, kind of, you know, and again, in the Middle Ages, a lot of people didn't wash their hair. You know, they may have bathed a lot, but I'm questioning how much they really did wash their hair. And maybe that's why some of us had much longer hair then. So, and my hairdresser will be upset with me, but it's not the first time she's been upset with me. It won't be the last.
She's angry that she won't dye her.
Yeah, my hairdresser's already upset with me that I won't dye my hair anymore. I'll just highlight it, because I absolutely love the highlights of my gray. So, okay. So this is the last, your hair is so pretty, Hannah. Okay. So this is one of my favorite hairstyles for Viking, and I don't see it in the SCA hardly ever. And it's not a wealthy woman one or anything. It's just not done very often. And Hannah's hair isn't. The woman who wore this had 90 centimeters of hair. And she didn't, you know, she was found buried in a bog in a battle. She didn't die kindly. We'll go with that sentence. This is just, and there's a lot of debate. They're saying she didn't tie the end of her. This debate makes me nuts. She didn't have a tie. Heather, I think you and I went around about this last week. She didn't have a tie on the end of her hair. Therefore, obviously, nobody ties the end of her hair. Listen, if your hair on braids, tie it. Let's just not be stupid. The simplest thing in the world. So, because there's people like, well, no, they must have used hair gel. No, they didn't. They took a piece of string and they tied their hair. Just because it rotted away or you can't find it doesn't mean they didn't do it. They just can't. I just can't. So she was dragged across the field and then something terrible happened to her and she died. And they can't find a hair tie in her hair. So they're really sure she never had a hair tie in her hair. But she died a horrible death and her hair is halfway undone. So obviously she didn't use a hair tie. This makes me crazy for hours. And if you'd like to hear me go on for more, I can't. So, and my daughter's like, please don't make her. And I was like, my mother's insane. I'm just like, so if your hair needs a hair tie, find a piece of string and tie your hair. Because I'm not going to get in with the scholarly debates about whether she had a hair tie or not. I happen to think that natural fibers that are very thin fade or rot in bogs faster than hair does. So let's just not do this anymore. Please. I was like, please make my mom shut up. So what I am showing you is one of these hairstyles, and this will look really good on your daughter, Shelly. Well, this will look really good on both of you. This is a really good style. It's also really pretty. Like I said, Hannah's hair isn't quite long enough. I'm going to try. So what you want to do is you take half the hair like this or so, okay? And you're going to braid it for a little bit. Oh, hair is giving me a go tonight. Okay. Until there's this gap in here. You see this? And then what you want to do is continue braiding it. Sort of like French braiding it in. Do you see that? And yeah, your hair is not long enough. Let's see if I can figure this out. Work a little better. All right, I'm going to attach a fake braid to Hannah's hair. I love how my kid doesn't even flinch as I do these things. She's like, "Oh, you're going to attach a fake braid? Okay, Mom."
No, it smells.
Yes, it smells. You're fine. Okay. So this would be the fake braid. And then what you would do is bring it in through here. You see that?
So Jody, with Kai's length, we should just go we're just braiding it all the way down to give it the same length that you have with fake hair with Hannah, right?
Yeah. Say that again.
With Kai's length, you just added in a piece for Hannah, right? To be able to tie it up and in?
Yeah. But
So,
that's actually that's the style of that
okay.
looks. So you actually just bring it through I'm afraid it won't hold because I didn't attach the braid really well.
Right.
But there, yeah, you just put it through that spot between the two braids. You just braid it all the way down to the end and then bring it through that opening and then tie off the end here.
Do you see where sorry everybody, thank you for your patience. We have it all undercut.
So I would still just start up here and braid it to
higher.
Start higher and then bring in the bottom and still wind it through.
Okay.
She's got enough hair.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Yeah, but look how pretty. I mean, look from the side, even though none of that really matches. Look at what a pretty hairdo that is.
It comes out really pretty.
Turn around from the side. I mean, and this is one of my favorite lines on women. It's just such a pretty, turn around to the front, Hannah. It's just it's one of my favorite field looks for women. It's just really pretty. Turn your head that way a little bit to see how pretty that is.
Yeah.
It's super pretty. And so that's the look. Did you guys see how it kind of came together? So it's all because of that little spot in the braids right there that you left open. So that did it. Thank God I had that braid. So Heather, this was the Margarita braid that I made for her hair, and then she changed the color of her hair that one time. Yeah. So.
Yes, I thought that might have been, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So those
I would like to see that you do that in person because it's really hard from, I don't know if it's just you're kind of cloudy, so, but I kind of got the gist of the pocket, but it's kind of hard.
Again. I can try it for just the side and do a small one.
Okay.
So can you move to the side and see if we can get it here? If I do it smaller, it may work better. Because it's just, I love this. This is just so pretty.
Jody, there's a question in the chat about the time period that the style may be applicable to. So something about, especially anchored with a couple bobby pins for fighting, but it predates the Viking era.
I'll have to look it up. It's on that. This one is on the body. I can't remember the actual dates. This one was found on the bog body with the 90 centimeters of hair. So in Ireland, I think. So I'd have to look up the date of that one again. But I kind of think that anything that shows up early, you can use later if it works. Does that help answer the question? I didn't hear the question. I was combing. So I heard half the question. Ask the question again. Or do you want me to read it?
Hang on. Can you talk a bit about the time period this style may be applicable to? I love this style, especially anchored with a couple bobby pins for fighting, but it predates the Viking era. And then, is there evidence of this style from anywhere other than Elling Woman?
I haven't seen it anywhere other than the Elling Woman. Not yet. Anything that I have seen, anything that I've seen is other than on Valkyrie. Is other than the top knots and the side knots that I've seen. So to answer that question, so I've just seen these on the two bog bodies and the one over the top. So I can keep looking, but that's all I've seen so far. Sorry. But then I'm also going to go with, if it's earlier, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that you can't use it in my mind. But that's me. So here to show you this one again. Here's the braid. Is that a little bit better? Can you see it?
Yes,
And
thank you.
Here's the spot in between. And I'm going to bring in more hair. I think there was a text. I know, but I'm trying to finish this.
The text is just a thank you.
Oh, okay. And remember, guys, and I showed this a couple weeks ago, if you have too much of one braid, you can split up the braids so that it evens out. And then what you want to do is bring this through here like this. And like that. So that obviously it doesn't go on the side of her head like that. That would be the back. And then I would tie this off, because just because they didn't find a tie doesn't mean they didn't use one. Hannah's hair won't hold. And if you need a hair stick in it to begin to train the hair, that's how I would do it, because I just think it's pretty.
Thank you, Jody.
Yeah. Does that help you see it a little bit better?
Yes, I didn't quite see how far when you were doing the back, but I see what you meant by the gap. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm kind of in this place of this place of thinking that, we have proof of the top knot, we have proof of the side knot, we have some braids. That's gorgeous, Shelley. So if it's working and you like it and find what works, I think that, lots of people did lots of things. And if we see something close to it, have some fun with it. Use materials, use what you know, like what's on your face, and become comfortable with these styles in your hair. And I think it's as good a place as any to start, unless you're trying to replicate something exact. Like in my Roman look, I'm replicating an exact look from a bust with my hair and a circlet. And that's a very specific thing. But otherwise, I'm trying to get comfortable with what tools I know they had, what styles I know they used, and becoming very comfortable and familiar with my hair. So to me, it's more of a mechanism than a reproduction. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know, Marion, I don't know if you have a much more grown-up way to say that or not, but sometimes I think this is much more of a, I do hair and hair and hair and hair and hair. So how do you become familiar with, doing medieval hair repeatedly for a bunch of time? I mean, I wear my hair like this every single night around my house. So that it learns how to do it.
With any art, I think once you get used to the mechanics, the feel of it in your hands, a lot of things that archaeologists can't figure out just make sense. And we see that with textile arts. We see that all types of things like null bending. We see things like that with knitting. Archaeologists find this doodad and they're like, here's this thing. We don't know what it is. It must be something esoteric. And then put it in the hands of someone who's a craftsperson. They're like, oh, I bet you could do X with it. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot of that, do what makes sense. And we know what they had access to, right?
Yeah. I find that with hair all the time. Like I just, it can go up this way and it can do this and it can do that. And I saw somebody made me, I have them in here. Somebody made me 14th century valve pins, and they make no sense to me. I don't understand them. They're this big. So I have to do some research, because I don't know what on earth anybody would do with 1-inch valve pins, unless they're meant for very, very light silk-like valves. They could be, but I have them. They're beautiful. They're brass, but I'm not using them because I'll ruin them, unless you have like 6 of them, and then maybe I could use them. But I need valve pins that are much bigger than that to work on most of the stuff that I use, because they're not going to hold in any braids that I know of. So maybe they're meant for hats. I have no idea. So I can't figure out what these things are for. I use them in clothing for people to hold on to tabards and stuff like that. I find them to be very useful for that. So again, I'm not sure the information came across clearly. And the person who made them doesn't wear valves. It's a guy, and he makes tons and tons of beautiful things, but he does not wear valves. So again, I'm not sure. I'll use them, but I'm gonna probably not use them in hair because they don't work. It's interesting to put all this stuff together, at least for me. Other questions?
I'm playing with this piece because my knot is still up top, Jody, and this piece has already slipped out. That's why I just wanted. That's how slippery. It's already just it comes out in little pieces.
Yeah, it takes a long time, and training to, yeah, and I'll have pieces pop out, but I like them because they're curly and pretty. So you just get used to what your hair is going to do to you, because my hair has its own opinion, and it's going to tell all of you exactly what it thinks, whether I want it to or not. So, for those of you that are interested in coming next week, next week is about bringing pictures of classes that like take a picture of something, a hairstyle you want to dissect, because that's kind of the final step of this. I've been teaching 4 classes, and the 4th style is I want to figure out how to do this, because that's what all of this builds up to. You've taken a look at things, and now we sort of, if I can get a couple pictures, we're going to dissect some hairstyles now and see how they come together, if people want to do that. If nobody shows up, then I'm going to go get a glass of wine and enjoy all of you guys, and that's how that's going to go. Or if not, I'll bring a couple things of my own that I've dissected, and we can mess around with those too.
So I have one, and it might be that you've already talked about it, but with the Viking hairstyles that you've shown us this evening,
Yeah,
these are all historically, accurate from what we've seen. You said that the Valkyrie ones and the effigy ones are more like what they wished their hair would do, possibly, than what it actually was as a source.
So the Valkyrie ones were on statues. So those are the top knots of the sidewalks. And the other ones I showed you are bog bodies. I haven't showed you any effigy. I don't do them because
Sorry, wrong word.
That's okay. I tried to do them a couple of times on a couple different. I have some research, and I tried to do it, and they kept falling out. Yeah, I couldn't. I can reproduce it, but I can't reproduce it with the actual tools and then like I can do it, but I can do it with hairspray and bobby pins and modern tools. I can't reproduce it with the tools of the time. Or I could if you didn't move. If you laid down flat and you didn't move at all, I could reproduce it. But as soon as you moved in any time, it was it was over. And it was Mistress Osa. So I owe her props, because like I did it to her hair like 3 times, and it made her nuts. And so we just couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't. And I even went and handmade all the pins that belonged in the hair to do it, and I couldn't get the couple of these hairs. So I kind of decided at that point that I wasn't going to try anymore, because it was just annoying me, and I was going to go with my hypothesis that kind of like nowadays, dead people's hair is not live people's hair, and so try not to make it as such. I'm sure you can use really nice grown-up words for that, but they're just not. So don't. I'm not.
Thank you.
There may be amazing people who can. I'm not one of them. So I stopped trying. And there's some research that was really successful, but they were really successful on their own hair, their own way. They weren't successful on anybody else's. So I don't feel like fighting about it. They can have their world. I'll have mine. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where, so I kind of figure like statues and stuff, they were, I'm sure, quite like I make fun of Snapchat, but quite like Snapchat filters, or if you look at busts or portraits, we're going to blur out all the messy details of where a hairstyle didn't land right. But that doesn't mean that it didn't land right. It just means that we blurred out, like, you can see all the frizzies in this. But if you were to do a portrait of this, there's no way they paint the frizzies. Please. Snapchat me right now. There'll be no frizzies in it. Right? And I'll have great eye makeup. That's what the portraits will look like. That's what our busts will look like. That's how they're going to want to portray them, portray themselves. Same thing. So, yeah, I think anyway. So, anything else? All right, guys. Again, I landed it right on the money. 8 o'clock, our class. And thank you so much for coming. I love this stuff a lot. It doesn't work if there's no audience, so thank you. And thank Hannah for being abused for the entire time.
Thank you to both of you.
Thank
All
you
right,
for coming.
thank you. I'm going
Thank
to
you so
stop
much, guys.
recording officially.
Okay, perfect.